Chris, do you happen to have a belief that you wish to discuss?
Um, hmm. uh, I believe in ghosts.
Okay. Interesting. Ghosts. And by ghosts, what do we mean?
Spirits. People coming back from the afterlife to, yeah,
Coming back from the afterlife.
or not passing on to the afterlife per se.
So you live a life, you die, you survive your death and become a spirit. Is that what you're saying?
I think there's energy that's left over after you pass on, go to heaven, whatever. I think there's energy that's left, especially to me. I've actually seen 2 ghosts in my life.
Okay.
So, from what I've gained from what I know about it, is they were very, it was a violent death or a very, maybe let's say mysterious death.
So did you see the spirits or did you feel them? How did you know?
Saw both.
Oh, you saw both.
I saw both.
Okay. Interesting. So let's say on a scale from 1 to 7, how confident are you that your belief is true and real?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty confident.
Yeah.
And on a scale from 1 to 7, how important is it for you to believe in true things that are true and real?
7.
How do you know your belief is true?
Well, actually, somebody asked me one time and said, "Oh, you believe in ghosts?" And I said, "Yeah, it's in the Bible." And they said, what are you talking about? It's in the Bible. I said, Jesus himself said, if I were a spirit, then would you be able to feel the holes in my hands? Would you feel the cut in my side? He said that. So if Jesus said that, then there are spirits, because
I see.
yeah.
So the main reason why you, just to understand where you're coming from, the main reason why you believe the belief is that Jesus saw spirits, and that is written in the Bible that he did see them.
Well, he did say he saw spirits, but he said that there were simply
spirits.
by the statement that he made.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Because a lot of people even, they would say, that wasn't really who I saw. It was a spirit of that person. I mean, and why do we call it the Holy Spirit?
Okay, interesting. Well, let's suppose, and I have no idea what the Islam faith says about spirits, but
Neither do I.
let's suppose that Tony is sitting next to you, and Tony is a Muslim, and he follows Islam, and he says he believes, for whatever reason, that spirits don't exist. He has the opposite belief of yours, and I'm just a third person, and I just want to know what's true and real. Is there a way I could find out like what's real, like hearing you and Tony talk, like whose belief is more aligned to what is true?
So you're basically saying, how would I convince Tony that what I believe is true?
Well,
Or even,
not even convinced. I think if it's a true belief, I would like to know it.
yeah.
And if you say it's true, and like Tony's sitting next to you who follows a different faith, and he says it's not true, I'm wondering how is there a way I could find out? Is it like a test or some kind of way, or like how?
Well, to me, it's always amazing when you see like YouTube videos that, I've watched a couple of YouTube videos where you see an image or something walk across roads, especially, and I've been there myself in Gettysburg. A lot of violent deaths happen.
Yeah.
And this person was out and then parking the night, and you can see the soldier walk. It's plain as day, you can see it.
Yeah.
Then you ask yourself, well, did this guy fake it? Hey, we're in the 21st century. There's a lot you can do.
Right. Is this something you saw?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, for instance, you see from time to time these people who they say they've seen things. uh, my former wife, she saw things in a battlefield,
Right.
and myself, I was probably in my teens. Spent the night in this old farmhouse with a couple other people. The guy had told us that, if you hear bumps in the night and whatever else, that there is a spirit. The guy was out in the woodshed, was cutting wood, whatever.
Yeah.
And some Union troops came into the area. They were stealing stuff from his house. He came in to confront them. They shot and killed him. And he was coming in because he didn't have his gun. He was looking for his pistol. And that night, three of us woke up, and this figure comes into the room, looking around, turns, goes out the other door. And we're all just, hair standing on my head. We're all like, did we just see? And we all saying, all three of us saw this.
So I get two main reasons for the belief now. One is Jesus and the Bible.
Right.
And the other main reason why you have the belief, you believe the belief, is personal experience.
Personal experience.
Of those two reasons, what do you rely on the most to know that your belief is true to you?
I think I rely on what Jesus said.
What Jesus said?
Yeah. And then, of course, being backed up by personal experience.
Yeah.
Saying like, oh, well, yeah.
If, let's say you read the Bible and you're reading what Jesus said, and you see him. I have no idea what the passage says, but it says something about spirits, and you read that passage, and maybe it's not as straightforward or black and white as you thought. Would you reduce your confidence in the belief at that point, or would you still believe the belief at the same amount?
I don't know. The belief I have in ghosts is pretty solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think you're telling me. Well, what about this? I know you're at a sub. How can we make you more confident? How can we make you? I know it's about as high as you can go, but how can we make you even more confident that belief? What is there something that you could know or learn?
Tell me that Ghostbusters was a documentary instead of just a.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Is there something like that? Maybe I'm just trying to.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess all of my life I've read so many of these. You see these books in towns, like the local haunts. Take the ghost tours when you go to Charleston or Savannah.
Right.
Like that. And it's like, to me, it's like when one person says it, I was abducted by aliens, whatever else, it's fine. But when three or more people see the same thing different times,
right,
and you're saying, well, there's got to be something to that. Investigate a little further,
right.
Or they're all just jumping on, the first person's story to say, look at me, I got the story too, I saw it, that kind of thing.
Let me ask you this question then: what would make you less confident in the belief that the belief is true and real? Is there something that you can find out or learn or know or experience that would make you less confident that the belief is true?
Less confident. I don't know. Maybe if somebody somehow proved that there is nothing past this life. This is it.
Cute T-shirts, right?
There's nothing else. You go in the ground and you deteriorate into the dirt. And what else?
So if someone could prove to you that there was no life after this life, then you would reduce your confidence in this belief.
Sure. I think a lot of people would.
I'm wondering how someone could do that. Like how someone could prove something doesn't exist. How someone could prove like the afterlife doesn't exist or pink elephants don't exist. You know what I mean? I wonder how someone could prove that.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what, you know.
Because it sounds like you have a pretty high hurdle.
Yeah.
For,
Oh yeah, it would be a very high hurdle for someone to disprove
Right.
that. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with people. I mean, would you say I'm a very religious person? I would think I'm a religious person. I think I believe what I believe.
Yeah.
But I constantly find myself trying to prove, I guess more to myself, the historical fact, was Jesus really here? And that in itself kind of supports a lot of the stuff that I was like, was he even, there's writings from a Roman, Pontius Pilate. We have his writings.
If your belief wasn't true, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
this, but if it wasn't, would it even be possible for you to find that out?
I don't know. I think I think I have a belief that a lot of things, as the years progress, I think a lot more and more things are going to be revealed, either through science, either through I don't know, an experience, something happens. But I have we dig more and more, we find out more and more things every day that we didn't know yesterday.
Yeah, makes sense. What do you think about this? If someone has a belief, any
had to
belief,
have surgery.
and
So he's out for 2 weeks.
there's no way that person could show themselves the belief was incorrect if it was incorrect, or another person couldn't show them the belief was incorrect if it was incorrect. It seems like in that situation, that person would be stuck with the belief because there's no way they'd ever believe otherwise.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. And I mean, what does your beliefs?
Okay.
What's the foundation of every belief? Whether you're Hindu, Buddhist,
Oh, she's already got it.
Muslim, whatever. You start with faith.
And by faith, what do you mean?
Faith. And you believe 100% that this happened, and that's you build upon that faith. You believe that as far as we know, Buddha was real.
So faith,
Whatever.
I just want to understand what you mean by faith, because I know people sometimes tell me different things.
Not their faith, but faith.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go to when you go to the light switch, you have faith that when you flip that switch,
Yeah.
the light's going to come on.
Yeah.
But you
faith?
multiply that kind of faith.
So that's a great example. So if I go to a light switch and I want to turn it on, and do I have faith that it is going to turn on? Do I have trust that it's going to turn on, that the light's going to turn on? Do I have evidence, some kind of evidence that the light's going to turn on?
I think it's a matter of all three. I mean, you went to that light switch before, and you turned it on, so you have evidence that it had worked before.
So faith is evidence.
I think it's built upon evidence. I think it's built on things that you've done in the past, experience.
I wonder why we use that word like faith. Like I have faith that this religion's true or that religion's true, as opposed to someone saying, I wonder why people don't say more like, I have evidence that this is true.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think a lot of things people just spout out, and there's no backbone to it. I think a lot of things, especially these days, people
Tony
just
says that about your belief.
Yeah.
What would you tell him?
I would try my best in the nicest way and with the best knowledge that I've have to try to convince them otherwise. I'm not going to go and try and turn you from a Buddhist to a Christian. I'm just going to show you what I believe. I've had this conversation. I used to travel to Asia a lot, and in China, I'm dealing with people who believe in nothing.
Yeah.
And you start these conversations like, oh, well, my father's brother, he's Buddhist, and But then they say, what, they didn't know. What does a Christian believe in? What is it?
Right.
And then I think,
It seems like that you have a strong belief in spirits and also Christianity, and I would imagine it's like Southern. And it seems like Tony has his belief in Islam, and
right.
I imagine it could be at a Southern, and it seems like that we're all walking around with these really intense beliefs that we all believe at a Southern, and it appeared to me that there's situations where that couldn't possibly be true. That his belief is at a Southern, your belief is a Southern.
But my great uncle was a Southern Baptist minister.
Yeah.
And he once said in a sermon, he said, we believe this, we believe this Bible, we believe Jesus was the Son of God, blah, blah, blah. And he said, but you know what? He said, it does come down to what I told a friend of mine the other day that was of a different belief. And he said, well, I tell you what, when I get up there, I'm gonna give you a phone call, and I'm gonna call you and tell you what's going on. He said, will that make it right for you? You laugh about it, but you think it's like, is there somebody going to say, hey, he was right?
Well, it seems like that. I'm just curious how someone can have such an intense belief at a Southern, where that belief is where someone else can arrive at a vastly different conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, to me, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, please.
I think, to me, I think religion, from its purity, we're men. We're the human race. I think men, in general, are going to pervert and change and warp any true, perfect thing. We're gonna mess it up. We're gonna mold it to fit what we want it to be. And I think that's what that's why you get different religions, and that's why you.
I guess maybe what I'm saying is, excuse me, is that if a belief can't be shown to be false, then how do we know that it's true?
Yeah. Right.
What do you think?
I think it's a hard point. It's a hard point to prove. I mean, again, it boils down to what kind of person you are, what your background was, where were you raised, where
You mean that determining what belief you have?
I think so. Yeah, sure it does.
If your belief wasn't true, would you want to know it?
Sure. I think we all would. If we get information that we've been told all our lives is totally incorrect, I think it's shocking. It's painful.
Would it change your life?
Sure.
How so?
Sure. Well, I think if we're all big enough and can admit our faults, that we've been going down the wrong road. I think before we get too far down that road, if somebody averts us off to a different path because we're on the wrong road, if we're big enough and we can say, I'm not perfect. Maybe I should look into that.
I like what you're saying. I've had intense beliefs in the past, and I might have intense beliefs now that could be totally wrong. And I'd like to find that out. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Thank you much.
Yeah. Same here.